If you have been through a betrayal, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You are in the middle of ordinary moment, maybe making some coffee or trying to fall asleep, and suddenly you are back there, replaying conversation, searching for the signs you missed, rehearsing what would you say if you could confront them. And no matter how many times you go through it, you can't seem to stop. There's a reason why this is happening, and once you understand it, it becomes a little easier to bear. Let me explain. When we experience a shock as profound as betrayal, research shows that the brain goes into what's called the rumination loop. Psychologist Dr. Jennifer Freyd, who has done extensive work on betrayal trauma, describes how this kind of replaying is the mind's attempt to make sense of something that has shattered its entire understanding of reality. This is your brain doing exactly what brains do when, ground disappears, searching over and over for an explanation that makes sense. And there are kind of two distinct phases to this, and recognizing which one you are in can help you be a little kinder to yourself. In the early days, the replaying is usually about the event itself. What happened, how it happened, and you go over the timeline obsessively. You rehearse the conversations. What would you say to them, or what you wish you had said to them? You are not just replaying, you are trying to rewrite, trying to find a version of events where you had more control, more information, and more power to change the outcome. That is your mind trying to close a loop that has no clear ending. The second phase is less about the event and more about the past itself. Suddenly you don't know how to hold your own memories. A wonderful memory about the holiday you had some time ago, a moment of closeness, a conversation you replayed for years as an evidence that things were good. Were they real? Were they not? I remember thinking that all of it felt like a lie, like this betrayal colored the past. This rewriting of your own history is one of the most disorienting parts of betrayal, and one of the least talked about. Your mind keeps returning to those memories not to torture you, but because it's genuinely trying to work out what was true. That takes time, and it is completely normal. Your brain sees betrayal as a serious threat, and it is working to make sure that you don't miss important details that might protect you from future harm. The problem with that is that there's no amount of replaying that will give you what you are actually looking for. Because what happened was not something you missed. The answers aren't in the timeline. They are about him and his choices, and your mind cannot access those matter how many times it goes back. So the loop keeps running until you give your mind something more useful to do. I did this too. My whole life had changed overnight. The future I thought I had, the person I thought I knew, the story I thought I was living. And suddenly it was unrecognizable. And my mind was desperately trying to make sense of something that made no sense. So it latched to whatever it could, a conversation, a memory, a moment, turning it over and over, looking for the explanation that would somehow make it add up. But there wasn't one. There never is. But that didn't stop my mind from searching. And what I eventually understood, slowly and not without help, is that I was asking the wrong question, and maybe you have done it too. The question I kept asking was, how did I not see it? The question that we all should have been asking was, how do I find a solid ground again, now that I know? Those are two completely different questions, and only one of them has an answer that you can actually use. So what to do with the replaying? The first thing is to stop fighting it. The more you tell yourself you shouldn't be doing it, the more energy you give it. Try something simple. There it is again. My mind is searching. The small act of naming, it creates a tiny bit of distance between you and the loop. The second thing, and this is the one that I want to spend a little more time on because it really works, it is to intentionally move from your mind into your body. Not to escape what you are feeling, but to give your nervous system a break from the loop. Here's why this matters. Rumination happens in your head, but it kind of lives in your body too. And research confirms this, that many of us already know this intuitively. The brain cannot fully ruminate and fully focus on something else at the same time because they compete for the same mental space. So when you give your mind something absorbing to do, something that requires your actual attention, the loop has nowhere to go. And the key word is absorbing. Passive activities won't work. So something like watching TV while you're half somewhere else or scrolling on your phone, these leave enough mental space for the loop keep running in the background, and we don't want that. So what works is something that genuinely requires your presence. Cooking from recipe you haven't made before is a wonderful example. You have to read, measure, follow steps, pay attention to timing. Your mind has a real job to do. Gardening is one of my favorites, and it works the same way. There's something about hands in soil, the physical attention to tending something living that pulls you out of your head and into the present. Learning something new, a language, an instrument, a craft. Anything where you have to concentrate. It can be something simple as puzzle, knitting, following a dance class. Because physical activity that requires coordination and focus, something like swimming, yoga, walking on a trail where you have to watch your footing, works particularly well because it combines body movement and mental attention. The point isn't to distract you from feelings, it's to give your mind and body a genuine rest from the loop. 20 minutes, an hour, so that when the thoughts return, you have little more steadiness to meet them. And this is what I did in the early days. I walked in the nature, often 5 a.m. because I kept waking up so early and the loop was already running. I started tapping, which calmed my nervous system in a way that nothing else had. And I did it every day for a year. It wasn't to avoid the grief, but to survive it 1 hour at a time. The third thing is to gently redirect the question. When you catch yourself asking, how did I not see it? Try asking instead, what do I need right now? Right now, today. What does this woman standing here actually need? That shift, moving the spotlight from then to now, from him to you, is small, but over time it becomes the foundation, finding your way back to yourself. If you are in the middle of this right now, I would love to hear from you in the comments. You are not alone in this. And if you want to talk about where you are, there's a link below to book a call. Subscribe for more honest support for this journey. I'll see you in the next video. Love and light. Bye.